Hey everyone, Justin Conroy, Financial Dad here, and in this video I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know about 401k vesting, including what vesting means, how common vesting schedules work, and some general information about different IRS requirements for vesting programs depending on which 401k type you have. If this is your first time here and you want to learn tips, tricks, and hacks related to personal finance, how to build wealth, and how to better manage your money, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Jumping right in, what does the word vesting even mean? Well, it has several different definitions, but in terms of vesting in a retirement plan, it simply means ownership. That is to say, you will vest or own a certain percentage of the money in your 401k account in each plan year. If you are 100% vested, it means that you own all of the money in that account. If you're not 100% vested, it means that your company owns a portion of the funds in your account. An important point here is to mention that anytime you're dealing with 401k contributions into that account, you own all of the money that you put in. Your company cannot take that away from you. But depending on your company's vesting schedule, they may have ownership of some or all of the money that they put into your account. Let me give you a few quick examples to clear all this up. Let's say that Joe's company has an immediate 100% vesting policy. He has access to a 6% match, and for the past 3 years, he's been contributing 6% of his $50,000 a year salary to his 401k. This means that Joe has put $9,000 of his own money into his 401k. His company has matched it by putting in another $9,000, and since Joe's company has that immediate 100% vesting policy, he can walk away from that company and take all $18,000 with him. Pretty simple. But let's look at Jack's situation. Let's assume that Jack is exactly the same as Joe, except that Jack is only 60% vested after 3 years because his company has a different vesting policy. This means that if Jack decides to leave early, he can only take $14,400 with him because his company still owns 40% of that $9,000 that they put in. The important part here is that vesting only really matters if you decide to leave the company that you work for. As long as you're with the company, you can use the employer-contributed funds to grow your 401k portfolio as much as you want. Only when you decide to leave does vesting even become a question. So, why do vesting schedules exist in the first place? Well, companies use them as a method to try to retain you for an employee for longer periods of time. While there are limits on how long vesting programs can be, which we'll get to very shortly, vesting schedules allow for companies to hold some collateral over your head to de-incentivize you from leaving their company. And depending on the situation at work, a long vesting period can actually feel like a pair of shackles. But trust me, no amount of money is worth your mental health if you're in a bad situation at work. So please don't let that stop you from leaving an unhealthy situation if you need to. Besides, you can always try to negotiate a sign-on bonus at your next job to eliminate some of the loss of money. So what defines these vesting schedules in the first place? Well, there are a few different types of 401k plans that we need to talk about, and they are the simple 401k plans, safe harbor 401k plans, and traditional 401k plans. Each are designed for different sizes of businesses, and each have different rules and regulations regarding how much money you can put in, how much your company can match, and how vesting works in each case. It's really important to understand what your company has to make sure you're getting what you're supposed to get. As a quick rundown of each, let's start with the traditional 401k plans. These are what most large companies are going to use to define their own 401k plan rules. First off, as with all plans, your contributions will always be 100% vested. Next, the employers must pass some special IRS non-discrimination tests, and those are the actual deferral percentage test, or ADP test, the actual contribution percentage test, or ACP test, and the top-heavy tests. I won't get into the detail of these, but basically these tests are in place to ensure that highly compensated employees aren't getting too much free money and that things are more fair for the little guys. Next, traditional plans are much more flexible for the employer in terms of how much they match and how they vest, and as a result, employer contributions are vested by a variety of different schedules depending on what the company size is and what type of 401k programs that they have. Next, highly compensated employees can have more special, more stringent rules on their contribution matching. This is, again, to make sure that things are more fair for the little guy. And finally, generally speaking, employers can vary their contributions on a year-to-year basis. Traditional programs also offer 3 types of vesting schedules, with some limitations. First, employers can offer immediate vesting schedules, which means that any money that they contribute to your 401k account is immediately yours. It's very simple. Second, we have cliff vesting, which means that you'll be 0% vested for a set amount of time, and then at some point you go straight from 0% to 100% vested. The IRS limitation on this is that companies must vest their employees 100% after 3 years of service, but employers can choose to vest their employees sooner if they want. Third, finally, we have graded vesting, which is by far the most common. With graded vesting schedules, you'll gradually vest in your company matched values over time, similar to what I'm showing here. But the longest a company can stretch this is 6 years. At that point, the IRS says that you have to be 100% vested. Next, we move on to safe harbor 401k plans. These plans are generally used by companies with more than 100 people but less than 1,000, and they're designed so that small businesses can automatically pass the ADP, ACP, and top-heavy tests as long as they follow other rules around matching and vesting. Basically, they have 3 options for matching and vesting. First, there's the basic match. With this path, a company matches 100% on the first 3% of your salary that you contribute, plus 50% match on the next 2% that you contribute. This means that you're capable of getting a total of 4% of your salary extra per year as long as you contribute 5% of your salary. With the basic match path, all contributions by you and your company are immediately vested. The money is yours from the get-go. Second, there's the enhanced match. Under this path, the company must be at least as generous as the basic matching path. Most companies will choose to do 100% match on 4% of your salary. Again, like the basic path, both your contributions and your company's contributions are immediately vested. Finally, there's the safe harbor non-elective contribution. Under this option, 3% or more of your salary gets put into a 401k account with your name on it, regardless of whether you want it or not, and regardless of whether you contribute or not. But with this option, that money is not immediately vested. There's usually a long vesting period for this money. There's a lot more detail that could be covered about these different types of plans, but for the sake of sticking to the vesting topic, this should give you a good idea of what you should expect based on your company's 401k plan, and what you should expect if you decide to leave the company early if they have cliff vesting schedules or graded vesting schedules. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content if you haven't already. Also, be sure to check out the video on your screen right now, which talks about the basics of personal finance and will help you get on a path towards wealth. Thanks for watching.